it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studio Lou. So today I am getting back to work, working on a whole bunch of things. So this is just kind of like a what's on my desk video, and I'm just going to get started. So I decided that the next journal that I want to make is going to be indigo themed, or actually I'm going to do two of them, one in a vintage book and one with a fabric cover that I made last night. So I took some of my own indigo dyed fabric. So some time ago I did a big vat of indigo and dyed a bunch of fabrics, and so I have used a piece of like thin cardboard for the cover, for the inside of the cover, and it looks really ugly on the back right now, but you're not going to see any of that. So this is the front of the cover, showing off the nice indigo, and then this is the inside, which we're going to cover with some of my cabbage dyed lace doily paper. So that's what I'm going to work on today. Then the other, indigo themed journal is going to be from this book. This is a vintage book with some beautiful gilding on the cover. It's from Tales from the Decameron is the title of the book. It's an old book. It was a thrift store find, and I'll definitely be using this book plate. It's from 1930, so yeah, it's really nice. So I'm going to work on that, and I have some other things going on. This is going to be my 2021 Moleskine journal of firsts. So while I do use mainly handmade journals, the Moleskine week at a time journal I'm going to be using for the Journal of Firsts by Lynn Seddon from Raising Little Shoots. So essentially her format is, well, I can show you here. There's a video or something, I think it's a video on her website, which is, I think, raisinglittleshoots.com. I'll link it in the description box, but it's sort of a homeschooling program, but I'm also using it as an art journaling kind of program. So basically the format that I'm seeing her use is on this side of the page. She documents the first time certain things occur in nature throughout the year, like the first snowfall, you know, the first daffodils, etc. And then she does a lovely little drawing in like a black ink drawing, and then watercolors it, like whatever it is, be it a daffodil, the first bumblebee, whatever. So throughout the year, that's what happens on this side. And then over here, she does a little bit of writing about life and her kids, and she, you know, prints out and sticks down photos on this side. So I think I will do that. I have seen that she mentioned one of the things that's difficult with this journal is that watercolor is, when it's wet, it will bleed through. So I'm going to have to be a little bit careful. I had thought about going through and putting like gesso down or watercolor paper down on one side of this, but like I don't want to cover up the days here, and that's the side which I'll be painting. So I'm just going to see how it goes. Hers didn't look like it was terrible or anything. It didn't look super bad. So I think it's just basically don't be very, very wet when you're painting. Just kind of try to watercolor dry brush if such a thing exists. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to do, so she has this phrenology wheel guide, and it's not like traditional like phrenology that I'm not into because it's kind of silly, but sorry, it's phenology. I just noticed that, so let's just correct that now. So basically I can't really give you the details because this is like a download from her shop, but it is a wheel where you are tracking a bunch of things. That in itself isn't new. I've seen that kind of thing from Charlotte Mason, but her format's a little bit different. So she's got like, you know, the seasons and the temperatures and the months, and I think the things that were happening in nature that month, and then something else here. Like I have to actually look at this. I haven't done so yet, but what I wanted to do in my journal of firsts is I want to paint, or I want to cut out a circle and stick it down in here that I've already put the lines on. So I think I might actually literally put that right on the front. So I have to just figure that out. So yeah, that will be a way to kind of just keep track of certain things. I'm also going to try to keep track of like the moon patterns and weather patterns and stuff, and see if I can do a really good nature study with that this year, but we'll see how that goes, because, you know, life and how life goes. So I also picked out some papers and things so far for my Indigo journals. They're not going to be like specifically about indigo, the plant, or dyeing or anything. They're just going to be thematic toward that. Like, they're not going to be really, you know, specific. But so I got this nice big plate, then some blue paper, this indigo bunting, and then I chose also the blue grosbeak because they're nice. And then these pages are from like the Journal of Anne of Green Gables, and so I'll be using some of that. I may paint over some of it depending on what the words say and if I like them, or what the images are and if I like them. And then same with this one. So I probably won't use this, but I may use the background, but I'll probably cover the girls. And yeah, so they're lovely pages. I really love these sheep, and I think that's nice because it goes along with kind of the theme of indigo dyeing. You can dye wool with indigo. And then I've got some nice sort of handmade papers that all go along with the indigo colors and themes. So those will be used either in the ephemera or in the book itself. Probably ephemera though, because they're quite small pages. And then last night I did some stamping with a blue... a bunch of stamps with some blue ink, and so I'm going to use these in ephemera making. Some of them I won't, because some of them the stamping didn't go so well, but some of them I will use. So they're quite, I like this one specifically with this little, this is like a bobbin of wool. And then these are just this is something I'm going to be working on probably in a video like in the next week or two. I have an incredible amount of book pages that I need to make pockets and things out of. I just have to use them up. So yeah. And then I have a few napkins that are also on theme. And so I'll be using those. And then I have all of these little cabbage dyed papers that I'll be using as well. So that is what I've set aside so far for these indigo journals. But the first thing that I want to do today is get this paper trimmed down to the size that I want to use to cover this cover, and then Mod Podge it down and then sew it once it's dry. So I just have to figure out how small that needs to go. Probably about there, because I don't want any of that back cover showing. Okay, so that's that. Set this aside, and where's my ruler? There it is. Okay. Gonna give a little snip to those little bits that didn't come off, because I like the ripped look, but I don't want a lot of excess here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now we'll get the book cover back here. All right. Now I need my Mod Podge. There we go. Where is my glue book? I have a glue book I use. A book for gluing, I should say. It's not a traditional kind of glue book that you glue things into, but it's a book that I use for heavier gluing jobs. It's like, it's from an old, French craft book, and it was a large book, and so I use it because it's got a nice hard cover and it's large, and I just use it as a way to keep gluing bigger things down. And that way I'm not using something that's disposable like wax paper. I see a lot of people using things like wax paper or whatever to do their gluing on. But like, it's nice to not have to use something that you're going to throw away time and time again. So there's a lot of uses for the large covers to books that you buy to tear apart, because I mean, I use one. I've used one to store all of my phrases in, that are my little words and things that I use for making ephemera. So if I've torn out words and things from books, what I did was I used double-side tape, but you could also use washi tape. And you just make a few lines like down the book, and you can stick your words there, and it's not that sticky. It's sticky enough to hold them until you use them, and then again to reuse them. So that kind of a folder is really useful. You could also make ephemera folders with them. You could take an old photo album, and the vellum that's inside, or the plastic pockets that's inside to hold the pictures, you can fabric tack those down onto the inside cover, or fabric glue them down so that they stay. And you could use the pockets to hold your stickers and stamps and things like that. You could also like glue paper to the sides and make organizational folders with them to keep your papers or your, you know, different paper kind of embellishments in. So lots of uses for things like that that you don't throw out, although sometimes it does really feel good to just throw away something, especially in the world of like junk journaling, and you don't throw much away because you want to use everything. Okay, so I think pull this over a little more, a little bit more. Oops. There we go. I like that. Okay. I'm just going to give that a good press everywhere here. I'm just going to move it onto one side of the book because it's an even surface. So that's another thing I like with this big book, is I can actually do two covers of sort of standard journal size, and they can sit on either side of this book. So a little more glue here. It's not completely stuck down. Then I'm actually just going to also just go right over the edges with the Mod Podge as well. Just kind of a light coating to just double seal the edges. I don't want to cover this a whole lot more with Mod Podge because I've already done like 2 coats, one on the back and front of the fabric itself to adhere the fabric to the cardboard, and I don't want this to get so thick that I won't be able to sew through it to do a nice sewn border. I'm also deciding if I want to do some kind of a pocket with another piece of different dyed fabric, or something else that I have in my stash that's cool, because I have a lot of cool textiles and things, and I think that might be an option. I'm not sure if I have any that specifically are very blue, although I did find one yesterday, but it's like one of those things that I'm like, I don't know if I can cut you up. So yeah, you know. Okay, let's use the rest of this glue. That's good. Okay. So I'm just going to pause you for 1 second while I wash my brush. Okay, and then maybe I'll share with you some of the fabrics that I'm going to be using in these journals. So these are all indigo fabrics from a vat of indigo that I did. It's cotton, silk, hemp, and linen. So this is the fabric that I used. It's a gauze. So I have enough for another journal cover for sure, but I'm just going to do one at a time. I think like this is a different fabric. I might do a journal with that. We'll see. This is the one that I actually use though. This is the same gauze. Okay, and then I have some nice, really dark, this is linen, and it's got this nice stitching on it. It's not actual stitching, it's basically relief, where you hold the indigo back essentially from the original color of the fabric. And so lots of pretty indigo pieces. These are just sample scraps from my pot. These is all beautiful linen. Linen takes indigo like beautifully. And then here's some cotton. And this is a folding technique to give you these nice, almost floral markings. Some linen and cotton, and more linen solids. And this is silk. And this is cotton, linen, linen, silk, linen, more linen, more linen, cotton, and some more darker pieces of just linen. So that's what I'm going to be using in these journals. So I'll set them aside for now because I'm not there yet. The next thing that I need to do is, where did that book go? Here it is. So I need to cut the book out of the cover. So let me just do that real quick here. So we're going to use our handy dandy knife. And then what you're going to do basically is you're just going to hold this out a little bit, and you're looking to cut the paper right here. But you need to be very careful. You don't want to cut your spine, your book spine, if you're planning to use that book spine. So I just keep a tiny little tip of my knife out when I do this. I'll just flip it over. Hold on. Because this book already has like a little, I think a little nick in it somewhere. I'm trying to find it now. Yeah, it does right there. Okay, so I'm going to have to do some repair work on this book anyways, so I don't need to really be too concerned. This one's really close, though. It's almost still stuck. So I'm just going to put my finger down there. Yeah, and there I can see there's the nick there. So I will repair that after I get it removed. There we go. There's one side almost. Book cloth can be a little difficult to separate. So you gotta be very careful. Okay. The second side is slightly easier, but I don't know, different books can present different challenges. Okay. Yeah, this one is really bound closely to this. I mean, I'm not too worried because I know I have to do some repair anyways. But I would like to keep it mostly intact. There we go. Okay, so that's been separated, and you'll see how like well glued this is. This book, even though it's from 1930, it's like very solid. So it stuck to the book cloth a little bit. The next thing that I do once I've pulled the book apart here is just get it right side up and remove any kind of detritus from this. So what I need is my bone folder, which is right over here. I have a few too many projects on my desk right now. It's like a little bit too much. So I just kind of will scrape away at this glue that's left behind. I mean, you don't have to. It's probably not going to affect anything, but I'm just trying to make this as clean as possible. I'm not worried about if this paper gets damaged or rips because it's all going to be covered. So this doesn't matter. So yeah, here's the spot where there's some separation, and this is one where it's stuck here for me. I couldn't get it off without it sticking, so that's okay though. Okay, so that's all the glue. Oops, that's not garbage. Let's move this bowl out of here. Put these away. Okay, so just kind of give it a little pound on the desk there. Now, off here. So now what I need to do is think about the way that I will want to make this look on the outside, because I would have liked it if I could have just had, like, I definitely want to keep this intact. So I have to think about if I want to run a piece of fabric here, maybe just a very fine one. That might be good. And I do have some great fabric, of course. So if I check out this, I think would be really good. It wouldn't be loud. It would just be perfect for what I want to do. So yeah, that would be very good. So I'm just going to see if I can take a very thin strip. Okay, I forgot this linen is not going to rip straight. So I'm going to have to probably cut it, which isn't ideal. It's kind of a pain, but let's just do it. I'm going to go all the way because I need 2 strips of this. So we're halfway there. Oops. So you should probably use fabric scissors to do this. I don't have my fabric scissors here on my table, so I'm just using my regular scissors, which means that I'll probably have a few spots that don't look wonderful, so I'll have to be a little selective about what I choose to use here. So let me take this thick one away. Then strings, always strings. Okay. And they're so beautiful. Like, I don't even want to waste these strings. They're so pretty. Okay. So I need to even out some of this fabric here. So I'll take the even edge and put the even edge against here like that. And I'm going to make it slightly too long. Let's get this bone folder out of the way. Then piece number 2, a little bit too long again. Okay. This dark blue wants to pick up every little bit of everything. Okay. So the first thing I want to actually do is reinforce the inside before I worry about the outside, but I have the fabric ready, so that is going to come second. just got to grab my tape. My handy dandy 3M tape that I use for my inner part of my book binding. It's very ugly, I know, but it is an incredible tape and it does the job. Okay. I'm just going to use my clamp to just press it into the seam. There we go. Okay, so that is now never going to come apart, but that's not all we're going to be doing with this. Lots more to go, lots more to go. So first I think I will do, again, the inner binding of this before I do the outside. So I need a piece of fabric to bind this with, just book cloth. So I'm just going to pause you a minute while I grab some. Actually, cancel that. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to bind the signatures to the book cloth and then lay them down after the fact. And so, yeah, I've changed my methodology. So let's just do this outside section because that's kind of the next logical path here. So we're just going to run a bead of fabric tack right over this sad little area here. And I'll take the straight edge of the cloth and I'm just going to like lay it ever so slightly onto the spine because I don't want to cover up the beautiful gold gilding that's happened there from the natural book. So we've got one line there, which is good. And now I have the opportunity, once that is affixed, to decide if I want this to stay jaggedy and uneven or if I want to cut a perfect strip. And I'm not sure right now. I sort of think that I like it kind of jaggedy and I'll just glue it down that way because it kind of has more character. Yeah, you know, I think if this was just a strip like that, it would be kind of boring, especially because the cover, at least right now, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to put something on the cover here. At least right now, it's kind of just, it needs some character. So let's leave it with some character. So then we're going to trim the top and set little scraps aside here. Okay, now I will go back and I will add the extra glue that this is going to need to fully adhere. Just another strip down here. Okay. And I went a little bit too far here, but that's okay. I'm going to be able to make that matte again. I'm not too worried. This is a nice dark fabric, so it doesn't, it's not as unforgiving as a light fabric with fabric tack that like it will give you kind of bleed marks. I'm not so worried this time. Okay, so that's one side. Then up here, and again, we'll take this straight edge I need to cut this off. There we go. Okay, then just come back again with a second bead of glue. I was watching Stephen Colbert this morning talking to George Clooney, and he's like in the UK with his, I guess he has like twin 3-year-olds or something, and so him and his wife are there with their kids, and so he was talking about like 3-year-olds and how, like, you know, anyone who talks about terrible twos has never had a 3-year-old. And I was just thinking about that because my daughter just turned 4, and it is so true. Like, I'm listening to them right now. I don't know if you can hear them on camera. Like, it's always like a circus upstairs in my house. So when it's my time to have a kid, a break from the kiddos, and my husband is upstairs, I'm always like, okay, nobody sounds like they're hurt. We're good. So as long as they're just, you know, still happy screaming, then I'm good. So yeah, you know, the trials and tribulations. So the next thing I have to figure out really is, what do I want to use as the cover image on this? And what do I want to do with the end papers? So I'm just going to pause you a moment while I look for some options that we can look at together. Okay, so I got a little sidetracked and ended up digging into a bunch of different things, and found some pictures of indigo, the plant. So I also came across what I thought might be a good idea. So I really love this particular piece of indigo fabric. There's just a little tiny bit of it, but I was thinking it would be nice to just put it right on the cover. Hold on. I'm upside down and backwards, you know, in true Cindy style. The other thing that I wanted to do was to add a little bit, I don't know if you can see this ink color. It's a little bit different than the one that the book is, the book cloth is made from, basically. I need something to smudge you with. There it is. So I just wanted to kind of spread this ink color around a little more on here. So we have a little bit of contrast between, this one dries a little purpley. You can see it here. Maybe, I don't know if you can, it's pretty dark, this color, but I just wanted to add a little bit of sort of depth on this book because it's really, really dark. So hopefully that does it. We'll see once it's all dry. But I do like how it's kind of more solid now. It's not so broken up. So anyhow, I found, so I had these little bits left over from this. So I was thinking about like lying this piece of indigo fabric right here. And then I found this vintage photo. Hopefully you can see her there. There we go. Sorry if the glare is too much, but it's this lovely girl. This is like a 50s photograph, and it's this lovely girl standing in a garden with what looks like, there's definitely many different kinds of flowers. I don't recall the name of some of these, but I know some of them are blue. I just know that from looking at the picture. I know the flower. I just can't recall the name. So I thought that would be a really nice thing to kind of include here, but I'm going to trim this edge off. I'm also thinking about maybe looking for something to make that into a cabinet card to go on the front. So that is something I will have to look into. And then I have these different, there's indigo images. That is some, what's it called? Starts with a C. It's a light treatment. I can't remember, guys. I'm sorry. If I think of it, I will tell you. I'm going to be doing a video on it anyways, later on. But yeah, different indigo pictures, but I think I like this one the most because it has more blue in it. So let's, I think we'll just maybe tear around this and then ink it and then put all these elements kind of together. So yeah, just give me a moment. I'm going to look for something to make a cabinet card out of this, maybe. Okay guys, I think I found what I'm going to use. So this book is the Mother's Photograph Album. It's just a bunch of these, like, it's a photograph album with all of these blank kind of spaces. So I'm going to use this to make a cabinet card for her. So you'll see, like, she's pretty, this is a little smaller than I'd hoped. I wanted a little bit more of the photograph, but you can see the flowers and you can see her and you don't see that white background. So I'm going to go for it. So what I'm going to do is just, cut this out of here. Not really an easy task, honestly. I don't want to use my scissors, but I might have to. Let me see if I could just maybe saw it this way. Might be easier to just kind of saw it away. Yeah, that is easier. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm just going to be a little out of frame for a minute. I'm just not wanting to cut the book. Okay, we're free. So just put this book away. There we go. Okay, so now we have this, and I'm just going to get my paper cutter out, and I'm going to pick this up so it doesn't get hurt in any way. Okay. The other thing I have, I found these stickers. I might use one of those either in the journal or on the cover. I'm not sure. We'll see. But they are transparent botanical stickers with real dried flowers, and they are beautiful. They're so beautiful. So yeah, I don't know if you can see them there. I'm sorry for the light. It's very dark. It's nighttime here, so it's quite dark, but you get the idea, right? So now I just have to get my paper cutter. Just right over here. So the first thing that I want to do is just clean up this edge a little bit here. Okay. There we go. Whew. That's pretty thick to cut through. Okay, then I think we want to try to keep this. So now we have to do this a little further over. There we go. Okay. So now we're left with this. And I'm going to probably, yeah, I will strip this off the back after. I just have to decide what size I want here and what do I want. I want this bird, definitely. Yeah. So let's just cut above the bird. A little more, a little closer. Right there. And then let's see what this looks like here. So that's still quite large. I think as much as I want to keep that label, I just don't want to at the same time. It's a little too big. So I think I want sort of, maybe I'll include this bug. This little bee. There we go. And if I wanted to, I could use this. Again, I could cut it out and put it somewhere. So I'll just kind of keep that handy. Now let's take a look at what we have here. So we have this. Then if I wanted to still incorporate the indigo fabric, I could this. And then like that, maybe. I know what I want to do. I want to trim more off of this side. Oops. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, this side. I like that better like that. And then maybe, I don't know if we want to use these still. I sort of thought maybe I would use these little scraps here and there, but now I'm not so sure. Let's see. Okay, well, I think I'm happy with this card. So what I'm going to do is just get the paper guillotine out of here. Then I think the next step will be gluing this picture down here. So now, because this is going to be glued down, I don't have to back this really. I'm just going to back it with book page. So where is my, I'm going to use my art glitter glue for this. Getting nice and close to the edges, but very sparingly. You don't want blobs of glue. And then just even where it's a little bit too thick in some spots, I'm just going to smooth it out with my finger here because I don't want globs. But you have to hurry because art glitter glue, it dries extremely fast. So now we'll just lie her down here. Make sure we only have one chance to get this right, sort of. Here we go. That's what we want to do. Okay. Perfect. Now I need to wipe my finger on this baby wipe. Okay. So now that's backed. Let's just make sure this is glued down. Okay, so now we will just cut around here. Rid of all these papers. Then just kind of a little bit of glue there. There we go. Now I want to round these corners with my 1/4 inch. Okay. So that's that. Now go back to this assembly again, and I think I'll probably want to ink around the edges of this with some navy blue or some slightly brighter blue. Let's see. Okay, but let's just get this sorted out first. So we've got some strings that I need to snip away here. This linen. I just don't want them to cause any problems. There we go. Now, do I want to tear around this and have some of the background, or do I want to cut these out? Really, really complicated cutouts. I really like that ivory color, and I think it goes with this. Let's see. Over here. So I'm just going to like leave a little bit of the ivory background behind it. I'm not going to completely fussy cut it out, but mostly. That's just because I really kind of like how this background looks. I'm also not sure if I'm going to use this all in one piece or not, so we'll see. And I'm going to save these the little pods and bloom illustrations. I'm going to save them and put them off to the side because I think I do want to use them here as well. I just got to see how I'm going to use this now. Okay. So, I'd like to have enough of it showing. Everything is just battling for space, kind of, so I have to see what we can do here to just balance this out. Kind of like this, because then I can see the indigo fabric behind here. We would lose that, but everything would be visible. And then I would cut the little seed pods out and use them up here and down here. And I will ink everything. Let me just get my ink. Okay. Little tiny things. There we go. Sorry I'm being so quiet. I'm concentrating, cutting out these little bitty things. So it's really started to snow here in my area. We were out a little bit earlier. Today we had to drop off some things for donations. The region that we spend our time in is like one of the only ones not going on lockdown right now. Things are just not going so well. We'll see. It's kind of some competing factors now. There's some good news and bad news out there right now, and I'm really looking to see things turn soon toward good news. Okay. Sorry for all this little fiddly inking, but it will make a big difference when I go to put this whole composition together. Okay, so let's push these little guys off the island for a moment. Now, one thing that I do know that I'm sure of is that I want this fabric down there. So I'm going to grab my fabric glue. And let me see, is there a best side? I actually like this one more. It's more sharp, so I'm going to use that. I'll just do it right here, though. Just a very fine line here. Sounds like my kids are out of their bath, because I hear some wandering around upstairs. But that's okay. I am almost done with this video, and then I will go and hang out with them. And we had the solid side up, I think. And that's still what I want to do. And it was about right there. Okay. And hopefully we can get a little bit of nice like fraying on all the edges here. I actually kind of like that. Just get these little strings out from the side. Okay. So now let's just lie this down again. This and this here. Then those little guys there and here. Okay, so next I'm going to glue this down. But I also need to trim it. So a little bit's going to come right off the edge here. So that's okay though, because this will tell me where the straight edge is to lie it down when I am ready to glue it down. So I'm just going to kind of carefully go all the little nooks and crannies here. Okay. There we go. Then I'm trying to decide if I should Mod Podge over that first. I think I will before I lay the rest down. But what I'll do is I'm going to put the layout where I want it, because I want to know where I'm going to put these little pieces. So I was thinking up there, I want one of the pods maybe up here and one of the blooms as well. That's upside down. So there's one of the blooms. Oh, these are such fiddly little guys. And you know, the other thing that's bothering me is there's like a sharp end, and I don't want that. I want it rounded. There we go. There's that one. There. And this one has a sharp end too that I need to trim. Okay. Yeah, just like that, I think. Okay, let's just do a dot of glue. Or actually, do I want to maybe curve these? I just don't want it to look too, like, symmetrical. Okay, I'm just being nitpicky at this point, which is a lot of what I do when I'm doing these things, which is why it takes me so long, and I usually don't do the whole journal on video, because I am too nitpicky about things. There we go. Okay. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. So I'm going to, after this video, just Mod Podge this whole cover. Then I'm going to glue this down. So that's where I will probably pick things up tomorrow. So thank you so much for watching. I would love it if you subscribed. All my social media information is in the description box below. And I hope you have a really great night. Thank you.